Hey guys, welcome back to Phil Plays TCG. Today, we're doing it again. It's time for that, every so often, meta prediction tier list. Keyword, prediction. These are going to be our thoughts and opinions on the upcoming meta, which is going to be very, very different with the implementation of the new ban/restriction list. With, of course, the brand new set releasing tomorrow at the time of recording this video. And I could not think of anyone else to do this with than my brother, Mike. He's back on the channel. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited for FBO 8. Besides last set, the most excited I've been for another Fusion World set. It's really getting me more and more interested back into the game after I kind of took a break between, I think, like sets 3 and 5 or something like that, where things were a little stale. But like last set was awesome. This set looks awesome. It's releasing this week. This Friday, I think, is the opening of the pre-release window.
Yep.
So I'm just super, super stoked.
Heck yes. And yeah, I cannot think of anyone else better to have on here to talk about this, because a lot of things have changed. Obviously, some decks have gotten weaker. Some decks have gotten stronger because those other decks have gotten weaker. We got 5 new leaders coming out, a bunch of new support for older decks. So this is going to be a pretty interesting time here for Fusion World. Things are starting to happen, and of course, we're going to go through the top 5 tier list here. We're going to use the same tier list that we used in the previous video. Top tier, we have tournament winners / Z tier. These are the decks that we think, are easy, sure wins to top regionals, locals, any big event really. They just have a bit stronger of an archetype. They have the most support, and in the right hands, they are just easy winners, like no questions there. Next, we'll have top competitors. These are decks that you're going to see in the higher, top tables of your regionals. These are decks that in the right hands could be winners, absolutely. But these just take a little bit more effort and a little bit more brain power to pilot to that particular Z tier or tournament winner. But you're more than likely going to be seeing these decks in the later stages of regionals. Of course, we have the rogue / high roll tier, which are decks that are really good into certain matchups in the top tier or the Z tier or top competitors tier, but pretty much don't have a great matchup into other top decks. Basically, if you see the things you need to see when you see them, you're going to be a problem. And if you don't see what you need to see, you could just, brick and, fumble out. These are decks that just really rely on heavy RNG, but if they see what they need to see, are very dangerous. Then we have the casual and for fun tier. This is just, bring it to your locals, have fun with it. It's going to be a good time, but don't really expect this deck to do well in a regional of any sort. And of course, we have the help me please tier. These are decks that desperately need some type of support. I think there was like one deck maybe that got into this tier last video I did, and that was King Piccolo. We'll have to see if he still makes it to that tier. But first and foremost, we have a lot of leaders. We have 58 leaders, I believe, if I counted correctly. That's too many to do, so what we're going to do is we're going to throw some leaders into the casual for fun tier right off the bat. These leaders are just, like I said, they're not really going to be impacting the overall meta. Any decks right off the rip that you think fit this category?
Yeah, Glorio, immediately the one first and foremost on the list. This is a deck that I thought was like really cool looking at the cards. I think some of them read well. They have strong attack power, and it's the evolve keyword, right? That you're playing bigger things for cheap. The thing is, the deck just itself, the whole archetype has a lack of draw. So you're like playing out all these cards and doing some cool things, and then you realize you have no hand. There's like not a lot of replacement.
Yep.
So this is one that I thought should have got support almost like immediately. There's a lot of decks that come out that are like undercooked, and then the next set they give a card or two for support, and it makes it just that much more playable.
Yeah.
I don't think Glorio really got that, and if it did, it wasn't all that great of support. So this is the first one I would put in that I think could be so cool, but they just like were almost scared to make it all that strong.
Right. No, for sure. Agreed. I think Starter Broly is kind of in that same category. He just
unfortunately
hasn't gotten any support. Nothing's really changed with him, and unfortunately, the decks that got nerfed don't make him any better.
Well, it got. I'll tell you what. The last bit of support it got, I think it was an FBO 7. I'm pulling it up here. It got a really good card. Let me find it. It was a new Broly card. Here it is. So it was the 7 cost 40k. That said, if your leader's Broly and you have a Paragus in your battle area, it becomes a 3 cost. So potentially, on turn 3, you could play a 40k body that says on play, choose each Paragus in the battle area and KO them, then add the top 2 cards of your deck to your energy and rest mode. So it's a double ramp card if you can land a Paragus on one of the previous 2 turns. That like reads super well. Like this is awesome support, but it simply didn't do enough for the deck. It kind of replaces gigantic or destructive strength as a ramp card on turn 3, and you get a body. But like again, that's just how much support this starter Broly needs. Is that you get an awesome support card like this, and it still really didn't move the needle, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't get this type of support that like Mini Vegeta got, that made it go from like worst to best, and it's still just in the landscape of things not great. Same thing with Shallot. This is such a cool deck. It hasn't got any type of support. You could say like any black 6 cost card is technically support for this, but it has to also be a 10,000 combo power card, and just it never really did anything in the meta. I think maybe the first week it was out, there were some lists, but people have pretty much just forgot about it. Let's see here. Starter Coup.
Cooler. Or Starter Coup is a good one. Yeah, Starter Coup, like, this is a generic red leader, as generic as it gets.
Yeah.
As it can be as good as the other generic Saiyan, like, red support. But its ability just to, like, buff 5 has pretty much been power crept because of the fact that that was a set 1, the very first starter deck, and now we're opening set 8, and things have just been crept, right? Like, you weren't getting so many 2 cost 20k swingers that early.
Yep.
So getting out of certain attacks and things were good. It just brought so much more value. So now you just have too many cards that are better statted, that your ability on this card just simply isn't doing it anymore.
Right. It's not enough at this point. Same thing I feel like, sadly, with Blue Starter Vegeta as well. Like, it can do some neat things, but just if you're gonna play Blue, there's just better Blue things. You know, there's better Blue leaders to play.
Yeah, and I mean, this was the original, like, what Blue is supposed to be, this low hand size, but like because of it, you got these abilities to kind of help balance it out. Blue has obviously changed its identity since then, and they limited peel-off, right? Just to 1 per deck, or was it banned?
It's banned completely.
Banned completely. Okay, so you lost the main card that Blue needed when it was still a 7 or less type effect. Like the best card to balance that whole thing out, right? To still survive. So I think this deck is like, I don't know where you're getting the value anymore. There's no recursion. It has gotten support over the last few sets to some degree, but yeah, it's just, again, fallen short. You just don't have the resources anymore.
Exactly. And you did also mention Cooler as well. Like, Frieza stock has actually gone up quite a bit with the new set releasing a lot of new, Frieza's Army type cards or Frieza family type cards. But I mean, would you really play Cooler over any other Frieza card? Like, really?
So this deck, like, yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's gotten a lot of support since the leader was released, right, in set 1. So the deck looks a lot different. But it still suffers the same problem. Like, they gave it the Cooler that when you switch a leader to active mode, or not a leader active mode, an energy or whatever, you do the leader effect of Cooler, that it allows you to draw a card. Well, that's what the deck needed first, and now it's on a body that's also easily removed. So, like, instead of minusing, you're like maybe going even to get its effect off, and at the end of the day, like, you're still not getting a big enough payoff. There's not enough 4-cost really good Frieza Clan cards that you're able to, like, take advantage of the effect, right? The SR from set 1 Frieza is not good enough anymore. You've gotten several more Coolers. You've got some meta Coolers in recent sets. again, it's just not enough. There's not enough of a payoff for you hemorrhaging your car or hemorrhaging your hand just to have an extra swing or an extra energy. So unfortunately, until they like just stop messing around and give it like an actually good specific leader locked card, I think it's going to stay this low.
Poor Cooler. Same with this leader. Poor Zamasu. I love this leader. It's just with the loss of Pilaf, with how aggressive a lot of decks are becoming, this just can't hang anymore. It's sad.
Yeah, it was a cool leader while it lasted. Yeah.
Big rips. Anything else in here that immediately goes in this tier? UI Goku. I just think.
Yes, that one. Yep.
It's so weird of a red deck to play that most red players aren't going to want to deal with it. There's potential. It just no one's really looking into it, and it hasn't really gotten any specific support to help with it. So, not really worth running.
Top Coup as well, way at the bottom.
Oh yeah, Top Coup, where are you at? Oh, hey, get in there, you. It's funny enough, this card just keeps getting better, or this leader keeps getting better with every Tournament of Power card that's printed. You know, but it's still just, it's getting there, it's getting better, but it's still just a casual attack.
Yep.
Green Gohan? What would you think?
So again, another deck that's continuing to get support. I think someone took it to Nats this year and got, I don't know, I want to say top 32, at least top 64. It's a guy who but specifically it's like his main deck that he plays. He might be the only dude at all who's really still playing it because he loves it that much. So,
right.
I mean,
don't
quote me on that. It's gotten some really good support, but again, these green leaders that rely on having to kill your energy to get the most value out of it is tough because the effects are getting power crept, right? Like just the power level of the whole thing. So losing an energy almost becomes more and more dangerous as the sets go on because of how much that one energy can represent. So if you're losing one to draw a single card like in Starter Brawl, you're losing one energy to gain 15k for a single battle, also gets weaker and weaker. So I think I do think it's casual still. I think it needs more support that just kind of helps the power level rise up to the rest of these more recent leaders.
Right. Shout out to the guy who, if that's true and someone did get in the top 30 with this, shout out to them. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this if you watch this video. Let's see here. All right, King Piccolo.
Yeah.
I mean, is he...
This is probably the help me please. Yeah, it's just...
It's not good.
I don't know, man.
It's not good. It's just really, even with the support it got in Manga Booster, it's still not good.
It's really like, I don't know, man. It just seems like this is one of the most forgettable leaders that has ever been released. Cool concept. They always try to be like both in Masters and Fusion World. They try to get kind of weird with KP and how they handle the Demon Clan archetype, but it never truly works out all that well except for Red King Piccolo and Masters. But unfortunately, yeah, this one just seems so low.
Right. Another leader that I'm really upset about, Fat Boo. Like, Fat Boo
has gotten support.
Yeah, he's gotten really cool support, and he also didn't really rely on the stuff that Kid Boo and Super Boo used. But even then, like, all he does is spam out 2 costs. And he, free play is really, really good. But he really doesn't have a great end game. And that's kind of like the big problem with him. He doesn't, I don't know how you push games, with him. And even with the stuff that did get nerfed in Kid Boo and Super Boo, it doesn't really necessarily make him any better. So he's just a really fun casual deck. Let's see here.
What about the newest yellow Frieza, kind of towards the bottom?
Yep, you're right. There he is. Yeah, this leader just didn't do anything. And
it's cool.
Yeah.
It has a really cool effect that lets you cheat out big Frieza's Army, Frieza Clan cards at the cost of your life, right? Like it's the effect to pay at the end of the turn or whatever to play out one from your life. Well, you're hemorrhaging life, very important in Fusion World because there's no negates or anything. To play a card that probably is somewhat strong, but is it strong enough to warrant that cost? So it hasn't done anything. I've seen some people play it casually online and for their own content on YouTube and stuff, but I haven't seen it at all in any sort of top cut representation or anything. So yeah, another cool leader that just kind of was either undercooked or they were scared to overtune it.
Yep, exactly. But not like the other Yellow Frieza we'll talk about later. But God, who else? I know I just saw someone in here. I was like, yeah, throw him into that tier. Okay, the Daima Gokus. Really, like, are you going to be playing these cards, like these leaders, in any type of competitive meta right now?
So our current North American Nationals champion Dame took the first base form Daima Goku to Nats last year.
Oh yeah,
and got in top 16. So that one is a generically good card. It was almost like a better starter deck one Goku.
Yeah.
So it's done well in the past. It has sort of been power crept. Let me see. I can pull it up in front of me.
Because back if you were to say like a year ago, yeah, I'd say this was absolutely in the top competitor slot. But like now, when it comes to just leaders in general and red leaders, this.
Yeah, so it's the same effect as starter deck Goku, except
you minus something 5k too.
Yeah, that's essentially. Well, and this is only activate main instead of activate battle, so it's only offensively. So this really helped like get rid of cantrips and again push a little bit more offensively, which paired with some of the new cards that came out around that time and some of the best red stuff that's come out recently, was good enough, right? You were poking at your opponent's value that they may have left on board,
yep.
Or making it easier to clear their board with your swings because you're red. You can kind of go low to the ground, spam a little bit. So it kind of helped, swing momentum in certain moments. But again, it's crept a little bit because plus 5k just isn't what it used to be, and so that's kind of.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw these into casual.
With that one. Is the Super Saiyan Daima,
right?
That's totally fine. I'm not gonna argue with whatever you want to do here. This one was the Super Saiyan is also activate main, but it's plus 10 offensively for a card with Daima in its card name. So this obviously is better. Like 10k is 10k. It's if you're swinging even into a leader with a 20k that you've buffed to 30. Your opponent's always going to give you 2 cards or a super combo. So the math is better with this one. But similar to the Glorio problem was a lot of these red Daima cards either have too high of a cost for evolve because you're not Glorio, you don't get the reduction, or they just they don't replace themselves like we've talked about. So a lack of draw, and so you're spitting out stuff, making good pushes, but crackbacks are not as good. And defensively, you're just not as supported. So, cool leader, fun if you like pushing people. I've seen people really like this deck, but again, no representation, no top cuts. We haven't seen a lot from it, so unfortunately, it's falling short.
Yeah, and I just don't see there's a chance that there's might be a random Daima player showing up and in some type of regional, but I just don't think it's going to do that well overall. Another red leader I just don't see doing that great. U7 Goku, he's gotten a huge amount of support. Just once again, no representation, no placing, and I just don't see that really changing because with this card, once again, the leader's whole archetype is spam out cards, swing big, but once those cards are dealt with, because most of them are pretty easy to deal with, the deck just doesn't have a lot of defensive capabilities to keep going. So I really don't see that changing. I mean, we might be heading into a more slower archetype, slower meta, which this could do maybe better in, but I don't know. I feel like some of the other decks that we're going to talk about are just better than it right now.
Yeah, it's kind of the red problem right now. Cell being red, so you can't say red sucks in Fusion World. But Cell is just a completely different creature. The way it has chains and sequences and tons of really cool things that it can do amongst its card pool. These other red ones really didn't get that. Cell has minusing, it has recursion through the chain, it has multiple attacks strung together through its chains. It just did so much. And a lot of its cards are also 10Ks. So even with like if things didn't replace themselves, you still had a pretty decent amount of combo power in hand. So there is a red problem if you don't consider Cell like in with those other red decks.
Right, exactly. But you said it perfectly. I just saw. You know what? Let's throw Halo Ku in here. He's not doing anything. That package has been pretty much nerfed at this point. Just by
this is more
power
your
creep.
area. I haven't been the biggest blue player, but he fell off the face of the earth. Obviously, it didn't seem like anyone was really playing him at Nats this year, so I think that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, just too many low to the ground bodies that are way too easy to get rid of from Cell, Boo, like blue decks in general. Yeah, he's just sadly the king has fallen. Any other decks here? Tell me I'm crazy. What about Janemba? Like, he just...
Well, we haven't heard a ton about Janemba, but there was like one guy who I thought piloted it well. I think I can only remember one top 16 placement in the last year for Janemba. So I think this is probably fine. As far as like its new support, right? It is the Restand 2 leader.
Yep.
It didn't get support in FBO8. It did get like a TP recently that was like I think it was a 20k crit Janemba that did something. I'm gonna look it up here real quick. That I don't think was good enough though. Let's see if I can find it.
It
quick.
really it's such a great leader when it comes to like what it could do. Like the potential is there. It's just a great generic yellow leader, but no one's put the time into it. Now the question would be though is, with the meta now changing, and with Boo being dethroned or nerfed a bit, will people take the opportunity to try and theory craft with Janemba? That's the big question.
Yeah, hold on. I'm pulling up the
right because like
promo
there's
here.
Yeah, like you can just throw literally good yellow generic cards in this deck and it works pretty well. But the fact that you don't really draw on the backside, if I remember correctly, you have to either draw or tap 2, or sorry, restand 2.
So it's basically do you want it to be a generic draw on attack leader kind of thing, or no draw but like get the extra 2 energy? Yeah. So real quick, the promo that came out was it's a 2-cost 20k, 5k power. On play, you add a card. It's a self-awaken, add a card to your hand, and then when attacking, you can pay an energy to choose one rest mode battle card with a cost of 2 or less in your opponent's area and KO it. So, like, does a thing, but hitting a 2 or less by paying an extra energy is not super ideal. I know you restand 2. Unfortunately, does not do enough. And so, yeah, you're still stuck playing generic yellow. So the deck is only as good as the generic yellow that's going to come out. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to go back here. Let's look at FBO8 because, like, the new yellow Broly stuff is also restand energy centric, right?
Yep.
So technically, it's not leader locked. I think for the most part. So you're able to throw some of it into Janemba. Like the new Bio Broly, unfortunately, the uncommon is leader locked. Okay, so you can't play it and switch up to 3 energy to active mode. The SR, however, the 4-cost 30k Broly is simply on play, switch one of your energy to active mode.
Oh.
So there is a way to, on turn 4, pay 4, restand 1, leader restand 2 more, so you're up to 3. So you do have some extension type plays like that. That SR is generic. Let's see, everything else that's not an SR seems to be leader locked. Let's go with, you have the SR Vegeta Mini, or not the Mini, the Kid Vegeta, which is just on play on attack. Switch a 4 or less to rest mode, and then if you have a sand card or a battle card with a cost of 5 or more and sand in its traits, you can switch them to active mode to be a double swinger 25k. So him being a 3-cost, technically that is a chain in Janemba. You could go Broly SR into Vegeta Youth SR, so you're going 30, 25, 25.
Ooh, okay. That's
Just throwing that out there again. Both those cards are 0k combo powers, so again, you're kind of sacrificing combo power to go faster in there. But other than that, you know, you have the new Broly SCR, which you could say that for like every other yellow deck. It's such a good card. But yeah, this is a long-winded way to say that like Janemba has gotten support just from generic yellow, but is it going to make it better than you know, however other many decks? I don't know. We have to see. I haven't tested Janemba.
Yeah, right, exactly. You know what? I think I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna put it into a rogue deck. I think with some of the new stuff happening in the game with the nerfs and the new support cards, I think Janemba could be a really cool deck to tinker with. It's definitely something that like most people may not be entirely prepared for when they go to regionals. So I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. We'll throw it in the rogue high roll tier here. God, I feel like there was all right, Jiren. Jiren just hasn't gotten anything lately. Nothing that I can say like, yeah, you can throw that in Jiren and Jiren will work with it. And if you're gonna play red, most people are just gonna play other red decks at this point. So I feel pretty confident putting Jiren in just casual.
Yeah, we haven't seen much. It's, you know, it had its time. I think it needs more legit like leader lock support. Because it's not a red sand, right?
Yep.
That's kind of the case when it's not a sand tagged leader or anything. It has a harder time because the support is mainly like it always kind of revolves around sand characters. So
exactly,
I think it needs its own stuff. Otherwise, I think some people could still pilot it well. A lot of people put a lot of time into Jiren because it's such a unique and fun deck. But right now, I'm fine with casual / for fun. And if anybody wants to, you know, comment, do anything, and say like why Jiren might be higher, I'd very much listen to it still.
Yeah, I can believe that. Let's throw mini SS3 Vegeta in there too. Once again, just it hasn't done anything. It's very specific, you know, locked cards, yellow Daima cards, which, let's be real here, most of them work better in Goma than they do Vegeta. It's a very aggressive deck. It can be. It can be mid-range to aggressive, but I just don't see it really changing anything lately, so I'm pretty sure it's just a casual deck at this point.
I agree. It does some cool stuff. It is like the yellow go fast type of leader, but again, needs like legit leader lock support or something specific for it. And then I think like this is one of the decks I think is close to being meta relevant, and could probably just get a little support to push it over that edge. So until we get that though, I'm fine putting it in casual.
Sweet. All right. What about androids? Do you think androids is casual at this point, or is it still somewhat meta relevant?
I haven't seen it in a while. I feel like some decks have just gotten too fast for it. Like comparatively to new Piccolo Superhero, you know, there are decks that are just like ramping faster as green, although like the cards it still has are good. The cards that it has access to are good. Because of its history though, like it hasn't lost anything. I would probably put it up in rogue / high roll because of its consistency. Like its power to get bigger on swing is still relevant. I mean, you still go up to 30k, right?
Right.
It's still 25k leaders. It's still a good 10k over a normal base leader of 20k. I'd probably put it here, but with an asterisk of like, we just simply haven't seen anything from it in a long time either.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay, I feel like we're getting. Oh wait, much as it pains me, Trunks is just. He's not. Blue just in general, when Pilaf got banned, Blue in general just got so nerfed. You got support for him in a really good 4-drop card. I believe it was 4-drop. But even with that new support, Trunks just has a problem with being able to hit other bodies that are bigger than, 3 cost, 4 cost. You have cards that help lower cost of other cards on your opponent's board, but even then, like, there's a whole lot of setup for not a whole lot of payoff, especially with barrier cards that can't be hit. That yellow just has a bunch of. Green cards are way too big for Trunks to be able to deal with. It just, unfortunately, Trunks' bread and butter is when he fights low to the ground decks, like a lot of red decks. Halo Coup was a big one that just all dealt with like lower cost cards, but later in the game his ability becomes damn near useless, besides being able to spam your own, like being able to bounce your own cards back to hand to use your on-play abilities. But in a whole in the meta, he's really not doing anything. Rip.
Yeah, I have no opinion on Trunks because I'm getting blue. Only blue deck I've played is Sin Shenron because it's
right.
awesome. But yeah, man, Trunks is such a cool leader, but it's an older blue leader where they changed around the formula for that color. I think it also could use support, and has the capability of being like relevant again, but unfortunately right now, no, that's not the case.
Speaking of blue Vegeta, what a story. Going from worst deck in the format to one of the best decks in the format, and now, I mean, it's just back to, you know, being like, it's a fun deck at this point. It's not doing anything meta relevant. Once again, it really hurt losing Pilaf. It wasn't as bad as other blue decks, not having Pilaf, but just this, you know, its whole thing of like the promo and the rare that really helped this leader find a footing in the meta just isn't. They aren't really doing anything anymore. It's been power crept out of the game. It lost a lot of its defense with Pilaf. I'd probably say that's the biggest thing with, you know, nerfing or banning Pilaf, is it lost like 40k worth of combo power in the deck, and it was hard to find good replacement pieces that also had that same combo power. It's just really not doing anything anymore, and I don't see a reason to play this leader over other blue leaders.
Yeah, I mean, it had that good support, the good promo, that really made it somewhat relevant. But again, it still seems like what it wants to do is falling short of like what makes a deck good in this meta. So unfortunately, yeah, if you think it's in casual, I'm gonna defend you.
I mean, here's the thing. Against green decks, yeah, this thing is awful, because even when it minuses something by like 5, that green card more than likely has like a 9 cost body on board, 8 cost body, and you want to get a card down to 1. And there's no way you're going to get any of green's boss monsters down to 1. And even then, they're just going to spam another one on board. So you're doing a whole lot of things to hopefully get rid of one card, and they're just going to play it again the next turn. And, you know, basically everything you did was a waste. Sad to say, but yeah, not great. Green Piccolo. Like, I keep kind of flip-flopping on this idea that it's a high roll deck, because in the late game, yeah, I mean, it does what green does best. In the late game, it just overpowers you. It stampedes over you. But you have to be able to get to that end point, and I feel like this particular version of Piccolo has a harder time getting to his end game than the other version of Piccolo.
Yeah, of course. I would no doubt put this in casual. There's probably someone out there who's been and always coming back to this deck and hoping that some new green support is going to make it good or even playable. But no, yeah. I would put it in casual for sure.
Blue Gohan. I have people in my Discord and my comment section swearing that this leader actually got a pretty decent bump with some of the new support. I don't see it making that big of a difference. It's just, it wants to play Vegito out quicker, and that's its whole strategy. Play your 6-drop Vegito, get it on the board, and just swing big. But you have another leader that I think just does it a little bit better, and I don't know. I just don't really have faith in this leader as much as other people do, so I think it's just perfectly fine in casual tier.
Yeah, I agree.
God, I was just trying to think, like, any other leaders you see that you think would go into the casual tier, or are we gonna finally start going into?
You know what?
Going into the big tiers.
Set 2 Green Cell.
Okay, so that one I'm a little curious about because he did get support. He got a new promo and he got a new card in the set.
In what this past? Oh, he did. He did. You're
Yep. So
right.
if we actually go to Saiyan's Pride,
it's the ramp cell. So you like play him, and then he goes into your energy, and then he sets up. He can set up the extra card. So what is this one?
There's the extra, which is Incredible Perfect Form. It's a 1 cost that buffs Cell by 15k for the turn and an activate battle. Sorry, for the battle. It's an activate battle. Then look at the top 2 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 card with Android in special trades, and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck.
Yeah. But then there's the Cell battle card that you play it and then you can KO it and it goes into your energy. Which then there's the 7 cost extra card that says remove like a 3 or less, or a 3 cost. It's right there. That Cell right on your left.
Oh, whoopsie. No, nope, I see that one.
Okay, yeah, pull it up real quick. Activate main once per turn. If your leader is Cell, choose a battle card with a cost of 2 or less in your opponent's battle area and KO it. Then add this card in a battle area to your energy and rest mode. So it ramps and it sets up the 7 cost extra that says you like take a 3 cost Cell from your energy, put it in your drop, and then you can play out the 8 cost.
Yep.
So 1 energy sooner, right? So like fine. This card is good, I think, in general to be a ramp card. I don't think this is going to force you to play the 7 cost extra because it's, again, another dead card. That is just like too much of a combo, right? Because then you need this one, get it into your energy, and then you need to find the extra card, and then you also need to have the 8 cost in hand. So I'm not sure if it's going to make Cell all that much better. I'd still probably put it in
casual,
whatever it's called. Casual, yeah. You play that new Cell battle card instead of Destructive Strength, but like, is that enough? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I'll be completely. I'll love to see this leader do better. I would love to see it perform in some metric, especially with the new support. But yeah, it's going to be a hard one. Most people, I don't know if are going to want to take the time to really work on this leader unless they really just love green androids over the red androids. But yeah, I think that's perfectly fine. I think the rest of these leaders, honestly, are definitely going to be in the higher tiers. And yeah, let's start talking about these higher tiers. All right, so next up, I think we need to just address the elephant in the room. Big nerfs coming to 3 decks in particular. Both Booze and Red Cell. So, I think it'd be a great opportunity to address that. Personally, I think Cell is no longer a sure win guarantee deck at this point. Like, I mean, he could be. But I do know that those 2 cards that got limited to 1 are pretty big cards. And a lot of people are kind of under the impression that Cell is no longer the annoying, hill to climb when it comes to the competitive side of this game. But do we think he's just... I think at the very least he's still a competitive deck. I really do think he's at least competitive, but his whole play style has to change now.
Yeah, I'm not a total expert on Cell. I didn't really play him too much, but just based on what the nerfs are, we know that he's losing several 10Ks because you have one of the 5 cost Cell now instead of 4.
Yep.
You're losing Self-Destruct, which was a chain enabler and removal piece. So you are losing quite a bit of value. I think a lot of the red Android cards are still pretty good. You would, I guess, replace those other cells with the 0 combo power 5k cell, which is a 35k instead of a 30k swinger. You have the other, they gave a 5 cost cell, I think, in a recent set as well.
Yep, FBO7.
It's not nearly as strong, but still is a 10k combo.
Actually, it's a 5k combo. I got it pulled up right in front of me.
Okay, well then, I mean, 5's still better than 0. But were those the two cards making it as crazy as it was?
Well,
yes, certainly not a tournament winner, probably, you know, one of the best decks in the format, but I still think it will do enough to win some games. But it's not going to compete with the likes of Sin Shenron.
Oh yeah, no, definitely not anymore. That self-destruct card helped it, you know, keep its chain going, and with that card now being limited to one, you get a one-time use of it. I guess you could also grab it again with the Cell Juniors. Do they also grab? Do they grab any extra card in the drop, or is it just? Let me see here. If oh no, it doesn't. I'm thinking of the green one.
You're thinking of the green Cell. Yeah, no, this is this card was just, it seemed so giga broken in this. Yeah, just because like it was a free play. It was minusing things 5. So like watching TK Tops play 4 Cell Juniors all in one turn to help get rid of one of Dane's Omega Shenrons was so insane. Like literally going all 4 in a row to ping, 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 ping before eventually removing it is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's...
Let's see, this other 5-cost Cell is what? If your leader has this card about where it is. Okay, so it's another 5-cost Cell. Yeah, it's a 5k combo, but it literally becomes a 40k on your turn, swinger.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so you're losing some removal, but in terms of like the push that Cell can do, that's still a lot because you're going from a 30k to a 40k and losing out on some combo power. The other one, you know, is, what is it? Activate main, place one of your androids. Okay, so it's still like a popping ability to minus 2 cards, 20k. 20k is a lot. And then when you attack with him, you're still a 35k attacker, and you pop a 10k, which means you're getting rid of at least a 30k on your opponent's board. Yeah, like the cards and the nerfs are gonna make it nowhere near one of the best decks in the format. But I still think you've got some good enough cards to be competitive.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is just going to be, you know, they're gonna pivot their playstyle, but it's still going to be good. I have no doubt about that. All right, so then the other two, Kid Buu and Super Buu. Super Buu, people kind of fell off from it because people preferred to play the Kid Buu engine, the leader, just because of its ability to freeze things instead of just double attacking. Buu has lost its endgame. Like, when you really think about it, Buu has really lost its definitive endgame. It can't just spam out the double striker that spams out another card that could possibly spam out another card. They have one double striker now, the Kid Buu double striker. So they have to play it at the very last second, which of course, there's a chance he may not even draw it. You know, there is that chance, however low it might be. They may not see their 5 drop when they need to. It could be in their life. And they lost their 30k dual attacker. That also procced some of their abilities. So it definitely, I feel like I got nerfed more than Cell did. But I think that specifically Super Buu, God, this is a tough one. Because I want to say it's still, like, good, but I definitely don't think it's nearly as good as it was. So I think it might be just a rogue deck at this point. It's got to pivot its strategy a lot. It's got to find a new end game. It's got to find, or I guess, a more consistent end game to stay relevant.
Yeah, I agree. The deck's going to do some cool stuff. It's got some good cards in its toolbox, but I'm okay being a little soft on it and waiting to see, you know, what the new meta looks like.
Right. We saw what it did last time. Last time they did a ban/errata list, and it really didn't impact the deck at all. So this is a better one, but we still have to see the results. Same with Kid Buu. Kid Buu, its ability to like freeze something on board is still good, but overall, it's still going to be an annoying deck. It still runs a lot of barrier cards. It still has the 3-drop Fat Buu that bit with barrier. It's got the ability to make other cards, you know, have barrier. With that Bobbity that didn't get limited. I still think once they pivot and find a new strategy, I still think Kid Buu is going to be a annoying deck. At the very least, it's probably in Rogue tier. At best, it's in top competitors. Which one do you think it leans more towards?
I mean, I still think it's a good yellow deck with a good effect. So I think I would probably go with the same reasoning for Cell. Again, people can tell me I'm wrong with their own testing and stuff after this, but it's just, it loses some stuff, but it still has a bunch of other stuff that was good. It's a good freezing deck.
Yep.
I would just put it up here and wait for the meta to resolve to really prove it to us that it's just not going to be what it should be.
Yep, I think so. I still think you should be fearful of this deck a little bit, but it's definitely not the boogeyman that it used to be. Let's talk about Green Vegeta. Green Vegeta, I think, is a rogue deck, more so in the fact that like not a lot of people expect it, and it can still pop off and do some neat green things. You know, it's a different type of green. Instead of getting to high energy at the end of your game, you stick around the 4 energy mark, and you play out bigger bodies for cheaper because of it. It's definitely a pretty cool deck. It can do some neat things, and it can really mess you up if you don't expect it.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a lot of people love this deck. They like the new support. They felt like it gave it some legs. And I do think it's more of a high roll deck. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, cool. Green Goku, the second version of Green Namek Goku that we got in Manga Booster 2. Honestly, it had a high placing in the top 16, or was it top 32 in this recent regional?
It was in Top Cut.
It was in Top Cut, okay.
Yep, it was in Top Cut. It was doing some crazy things.
I did hear that this deck becomes a lot better now that Cell isn't around. It's a pretty consistent deck. A lot of its pieces are not going to be easily removable, and it can do some pretty good things. Now, I don't have enough information or testing with it to say like it goes in like the top tier, but I definitely think it's in top competitors just from what it's shown off in the last regional, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, it's very like, if it didn't make Top Cut, it would immediately go into like the high roll, right? Because I mean, it's just got some really good cards. You see everything. You're pushing. Your hand is very small. It relies on instant transmission Kamehameha to finish games and also like not die. So I think it's a fun deck. It's a cool deck. And with Cell and Kid Buu taking hits, a deck like that goes as fast as it does, it has less stronger decks around it that can control its board. Since they're not as prevalent anymore, Green Goku is going to come up. I would almost put it in the tournament winner Z tier because of, if you consider like the best decks being Sin Shenron, Cell, Kid Buu, this one. If Cell and Kid Buu take a step down, you're like, how is Green Goku not up there? Because Green Goku, I'm pretty sure, also goes too fast for Sin Shenron. So I think this may be our first deck that goes up in the tournament winner.
Heck yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can understand it. I definitely want to get some more practice with it. It's been on my list because I really like the original Green Namek Goku. So I do need to set some time up to practice with it. But I've been hearing a lot of people talk a lot of really good stuff about it. Some other content creators and players. So yeah, I think for now we'll throw them up there. We'll throw them up there for now. Let's do Android 18. Oh God, did we forget to throw her in casual?
I mean, but she got some recent support. I think she might be. People really like her. I like the deck. I think it's cool. You got the 16 that allows you to play the Bleak Future extra card for free, I believe, with its effect. So you're no longer paying 3 on a turn. You're getting a body and the field card out there. I think it's okay to go in Rogue because it has, a game sort of changing ability of attacking cards in active mode if you do get set up.
Yeah.
Which again is really strong because you can attack into cantrips and you can do other things that help starve your opponent. If that is the case, they can no longer go cantrip, pass, and just hope to defend themselves with, that value play. You can go into those things. So I'm okay going into Rogue, yeah.
Yeah, I think if you don't expect it, you might be confused on how to play against it. So that I can believe that. Now, I might be overestimating it, but this deck has done very well in the past. It's getting more support, surprisingly a lot of support in set 8, and with Cell and Boo taking a bit of a nerf. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Yellow Vegeta is going to be a menace.
I wouldn't doubt it. So our NA champion Dane is a huge Yellow Vegeta player.
Shout out Dane.
Yeah, shout out Dane. He's a huge Yellow Vegeta player. Like, if Sin Shenron didn't exist and he had no qualms or ideas of like winning, he probably would have played Yellow Vegeta at Nats. So I think this is really cool to see, and this is really good support. So I'm pulling it up here as well, so I have it in front of my face.
Yep.
They gave this freaking deck
3 cards: a Goku, a Whis, and a Vegeta.
Yeah, which is, again, so insane for a deck that's continued to get support through multiple sets since it's been released. The Vegeta is a 5K, a 5-cost 30K blocker, 10K combo power, mind you. So again, like all these good stats, 10K combo power. It's got an activate battle ability once per turn, so on both players' turn, it can use this to pay 1. You restand 2 at the end of your turn, so it's always live. If your leader's a Vegeta, choose up to 1 battle card in your opponent's battle area and switch it to rest mode, meaning that if they have multiple battle cards to start their turn, they swing anything at all, you can pay an energy to immediately rest one of those battle cards, meaning that it has a pay 1, avoid an attack, basically.
Yep.
And then you can switch him to active mode. Okay, so specifically to get the most value out of this, it's they swing with something, you block, you then pay 1 to tap, and then restand your 30K blocker. And so if they don't have any more cards, this blocks a leader swing, because 20 or 25 is smaller than 30. Like, this card is so incredible. So the Vegeta.
Yeah, the Vegeta is
fantastic.
Nice.
I need to find the now. Goku is a 4-cost 30K.
Oh,
yeah,
this card's
4-cost 30K, great stat, 5K combo power, and then the Goku is choose up to 2 battle cards in your opponent's battery and switch them to rest mode. Okay, so you're never gonna have blockers standing.
Nope.
Against Vegeta. End of your turn, if your leader's Vegeta and you have a 2 or more active energy, which like you do the leader auto first to restand 2, and then you resolve your Goku auto, which is when you have the 2 or more active energy, you can top 5 for a Vegeta or an extra. So you just grab Time Rewind.
Yep.
And add it to your hand. Incredible. And then let's see this. Oh, the stupid
The
Whis,
I believe. There's a 1-drop Whis that
another 10K.
Yep, a 1-cost 5K body with 10K combo power. On play, if your leader is Vegeta, add up to 1 yellow extra with a cost of 3 or less from your drop to your hand.
Again,
it's just
so. Time Rewind is such a crazy card, and there's a lot of other good yellow extras.
Results of
And
training.
So they gave it 3 new cards, 2 of them being 10K combos. So now you've upped his base defense by giving him more combo power. And then the cards with the good combo power, one of them gets you more of your defensive cards. So yes, I think this is one of the first decks that we can go, this just seems like a menace. Now, if Kid Buu isn't going to be prevalent, right? Kid Buu is kind of like a hard counter to this because Kid Buu can like rest energy and stuff.
Yep.
Vegeta's going to take, he's just going to take a huge leap forward. So yes, I just think he's up here.
Yep, absolutely. All right, good. I'm glad we agree on that. Next up, we have Gogeta, Black Gogeta. He got some support in set 8 with like a Veku, a Goku, and a Vegeta, I believe. And he also got a promo Goku card as well, which helps with making him more consistent. But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like at best I'd still put him in a rogue deck. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't have as much practice with Gogeta as other players do, but I know that a lot of people are excited for this new support, so I think I'd be fine putting him in Rogue.
Yeah. I never really played Gogeta. He kind of came out when I kind of took a break from Fusion World. I've seen some players who like him. He got some support. I would like to see results first before I put him too high, but I think Rogue is just fine.
Yeah, I think, like I said, he got... oh god, where are they? I think they're on page 2 here. You got the Veku, the Vegeta. Actually, it's just Veku and Vegeta, and then the promo Goku. So it just, it makes him more consistent with getting his marker, and then it helps play out a Goku. I don't know. Yeah, I think for now Gogeta is fine in a Rogue. Hopefully he does better, and we can reevaluate this later. Speaking of high roll, we're just gonna throw the King of High Roll in the high roll tier, Goku Black. The promo card he got last set is just so good for consistency purposes, but it's still just, if you don't see your curve, then the deck does fumble. But oh my god, if you see your curve and you're able to play the Goku Black 6-drop on your turn 3, it's crazy. Yeah, I'll just throw that one out there. Blue Goku. It got a lot of support in the first manga booster, but it hasn't done anything, like, at all. And I just, I think this probably was also just a casual deck. It really isn't going to be doing anything.
Yep, I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it's a fun deck, but I just don't see a reason to play it over other blue decks at this point. Once again, kind of the same thing, Now, funny enough, Ginyu,
Rogue High Roll, baby. I think he's the picture child for Rogue High Roll. He's continuing to get support. It is simply a deck that, like, will have certain matchups where you're like, wow, where did Ginyu get so good? And other matchups where he's obviously not that great. But you think about new Yellow Broly coming out in FBO 8, where, even with the Floodgate effect, Ginyu is going to be able to fight through that a bit, except the fact that most of your cards are like 20Ks, right? I think there's a Ginyu coming out that buffs all your cards by 5, so if like set up correctly, I think you could really push through, Yellow Broly, which is seemingly not, I don't know if I call it a gatekeeper, but like it's going to do a thing where decks who have the ability to like rest extra cards on their board to fight through it are going to have a leg up, obviously. So that's not to say only that matchup makes Ginyu, playable, but it's just that it's a surprise deck. If you don't know how to play against it, I think people are going to like just be questioning, what's going on as Ginyu swings a billion times. So
yep.
I like this in Rogue High Roll because it just seems like, I don't know. I just think he's the picture child for what a high roll deck is right now.
I agree with that. But you just kind of going into that, what you just said, like the poster child for Rogue as high roll. I'm going to throw Shenron into high roll because it's literally the casino deck. You don't know what you're going to get off the, your self mill, and the deck entirely depends on getting good stuff into into your discard, and it can either win big by hitting a lot of great cards that free play off themselves while you're self-milling, or you hit nothing and you just fumble the bag. I've seen this deck do really cool things and be incredibly aggressive, and I've seen the deck fumble real hard, so I think it is the poster child for high roll.
Yeah, I agree. It is like, I've heard people call it like a slot machine deck, so
yep.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly fine for high roll.
All right, so this is your expertise. Green Broly BR. Where do you think he falls?
I don't know if I'd call it my expertise. I sure love the deck. It's such a linear play style. Honestly, I'd still put it in Rogue High Roll because it's gotten support recently. It got the new 4-cost Broly that can, basically, if you don't have another 4-cost Broly or more on your field, you can restand it, so it's like a double attacker at 25k. It got another Chi-Like card that helps the deck. You like play out a Broly. You pay 2 for the Chi-Like and you play out a 4-cost Broly. So there's, like, its play style, instead of just completely ramping up slowly to the secret rare, right, and just like going unga bunga on people, you now have like more of a mid game where you can go the double attacker and start applying more pressure early on to help balance out its play style. But it's still very linear. You just kind of like know what your opponent's going to play for the most part, because of its ability to pop a Broly and play a bigger one is on the leader swing. It means that the battle card is going to swing first, then you're going to go leader, and then you're going to play a bigger one, and then you're going to swing with the bigger battle card. So it's just way too predictive. And like, while a lot of its cards are strong, being predictive really gives your opponent a lot of information to prepare for what is to come. So I just don't think it's ever going to be a top competitor, because giving out knowledge like that turn after turn after turn, or essentially for an entire game, is not great. So
Right.
I do Rogue High Roll, because you also need to see all your cards to go up the chain at the proper time and on curve. So I love this deck, but I think it can't be any higher than High Roll right now.
Yeah, I agree. It is a gatekeeper of some sorts, but definitely not as bad as it used to be. Let's see here. Frieza. Now, I think with the nerfing of Boo and Cell, and with the addition of cards I got in Manga Booster 2, I definitely can see Frieza being a more annoying deck to play against, because it spams its board. It protects them by restanding their battle cards at the end of turn. And it got new yellow Frieza stuff in set 7. And yellow is just in a really good spot right now too. So I would put Frieza up in top competitors, I think. But I know Dane also mentioned it too.
Now, yeah, Dane likes this one as well. I hadn't been too familiar with like the manga support that I just got, but now I pulled it up here real quick. So I'm looking at like the Zarbon. You have a 2-cost 30k Zarbon critical. 2-cost 30k critical, 0 combo power. Of course, its power, like, it's trying to be balanced because it has an effect at the end of your turn. If this card is in a battle area, is in rest mode, place it into its endless drop. Well, that doesn't mean anything in Frieza, because you resolve Frieza leader first to stand him.
Yep.
And then he's not in active or rest mode when the turn ends. So you can legitimately, once you're awakened, you can just keep a 2-cost 30k critical body on board that your opponent has to figure out. If they don't have low to ground removal or anything, as long as he stays on the board, that's a very, very good card. You have the 2-cost 20k SR, that is, you can literally play the Zarbon out.
Yep.
Jesus. So you pay 2 for 20. These are 0k combo power, so you are losing a little combo power here. But again, your opponent has to have point and click removal. He's not swinging into these things. You got the other one, 3-cost 20k, 10k combo power, Frieza SR. If your Frieza and your non-Frieza battle cards will be removed from the battle area by an opponent's skill, you may switch this card in the battle area to rest mode instead. So you're always standing him. And then again, if they try to pop the big Zarbon, you just rest this card, and he's also a cantrip on a 20k body. So all of this is a long-winded way to say, yeah, Frieza's got some good support. I don't know, again, if he's going to be a top competitor, because I haven't seen any testing, I haven't heard anything. But it makes sense that this support would help him be much more competitive.
Yeah, we might see less red in the format for a little bit, maybe, while people try to figure out Cell's new playstyle. So just another benefit to yellow in general. Speaking of red, you've been practicing with this one a bit. Red Trunks.
So, yeah, there's going to be like some bias here for me, because on release, this deck sucks.
Yeah.
But since Manga 2 came out, it's gotten the release promo for FBO8, which is a 4-cost 20k,
yep,
10k combo power Trunks Evolve target that simply says when it's played, draw 2, discard 1. Now, for a deck that does evolve, you need to be able to draw and replace themselves. So this Trunks does exactly that, while also giving the deck another 10k combo power. It also got a new promo in a 4-cost 20k Gohan Evolve target that when it's played, it minuses 2 cards, 10k. So and then FBO8, you also get even more support. So It's gotten 4 cards outside of Manga 2 that has helped buff the deck. From FBO8, you got a 2-cost 20k, 0k combo power Future Gohan that I wanted to love this card so much. Unfortunately, it's just not that great. On play, if your leader's Trunks Future, you can literally pop any card with blocker in your opponent's battle area. Okay, great for specific situation. It also has an activate main to place it into the battle or drop area, And if your leader's Trunks Future, choose 1 Trunks Future card with Evolve in your battle area and switch to active mode. So for 2 energy, you get a 20k swing. You can pop a blocker, chump blocker, whatever. And then you pop it to get another swing out of a Trunks. Now, of course, the highest roll is you restand the 35k 6-cost Trunks for another swing, right? That's a good value play, but that's running up the Trunks chain and then finding this Gohan. The real card that I think pushes Trunks into more of the red sphere of aggro is the 4-cost 20k Vegeta from FBO8. That's a 1 energy evolve target on a Vegeta from under the field. And then its ability is if your leader's Trunks Future and you have the chamber in play, add up to 1 card from your life to your hand, then switch this card in a battle area to active mode. So they finally gave it a multi-swinger, and they gave it a self-awakener. So at 5 life, if you got a Vegeta tucked, you can play this out, go down to life, go down to 4, awaken, and then start swinging. So for 1 energy, 2 20k swings is always going to be a good value play. And this can be protected with the leader ability. So again, if your opponent doesn't have enough removal, you can get multiple turns out of a 2-swinger 20k on top of everything else you're playing. So this helps with pressure. This helps with removal because you combo with any of your other cards, the 4-cost Gohans, the 4-cost Goku, and things that minus. You're also able to swing into things that you make smaller and help remove your opponent's board. So again, long-winded way to say this got a lot of good support. It hasn't been out long enough. It wasn't at a Nats because none of this future support was available. So going forward, we're going to start seeing if this really is a good deck or not. I love playing it. It's got a decent amount of 10Ks if you build it right, the same way Cell did. I'm going to put it in Rogue High Roll because I want to be proven if I'm right on this. I think it's a good deck. It will be one of the better red decks going forward. But until then, I'm just going to play it safe and keep it in Rogue.
Okay. That's perfectly fair. I'll trust your judgment on this since you've got more play testing with it than I do. I thought we might as well just throw this up here. Sin Shenron, Omega Shenron. Obviously, we know it just topped Nationals. Shout out to Dane once again for piling this thing fantastically. It's a great deck. It's the only deck in the game that can handle Barrier. It's got a really great end game. It's got great consistency pieces, consistency to the deck. I don't see it, getting any worse in the next set, in the next meta. It's going to be one of the best decks in the format. I mean, can we all agree on that?
Yeah, dude, this deck absolutely rocks. Like, I knew it was going to be good and it was going to compete at Nats this year. But it's like, it has a bit of a high roll to it because you just simply need to see what you need to see at the right time, right? The 5-cost Sin, the 5-cost Omega, the extra card that gives it double, like all these things need to happen, right? And then you're always, the skill comes into what you're bottom decking, right? But then you're also shuffling those cards, so you hope that when you put them at the bottom of your deck, they end it in a way that is ideal for what you need as soon as possible.
Yep.
But there's still a lot of pilot expression in this. All the lists are essentially the same, so yes, there are these micro decisions that you have to make. And we just saw Dane essentially pick it up. He said he had roughly 4 to 5 games he played with this deck before he decided to pick it for Nats. That's how little experience he had with the deck, and came over and he just won Nationals. So it's a phenomenal deck. It does some really crazy things. I would not be surprised if this got hit in some way in the future. Its support would have to be Shadow Dragon coded stuff. But I don't know if it ever needs it. So we'll see. The thing is, if you hit it, I don't know what you hit.
Right.
Because everything is necessary. Like the 5 Sin to the 5 Omega to the extra. If you take away if you put it down to 1, you get 1 copy of the double strike extra, the Powerball. Then it becomes much more of a high roll, and if you see it, you see it. If you don't, then it's really, really tough to win games. I still think you can win games, but then it's just a lot more tough. So, yeah, love this deck. It's great. It's gonna be, I think, it's the top deck until something is proven otherwise. But we'll see. I think Green Goku's really gonna push it. Yellow Vegeta, we will see as well.
Yeah. Agreed. Another deck that's definitely the top spots here. Green Piccolo Superhero. This is the one deck that Dane lost to. That he mentioned. But just overall in general, this deck is still just incredibly great. If you see, it almost feels like it's deserves in high roll just because you have to see your ramp cards, like your double ramp on turn 3. You need to see your pieces early on, and if you don't, the deck can fumble pretty hard. But overall, like, just with what it's done, how it's placed in these last couple regionals, like, there's no doubt this is still one of the best decks in the format, and it's even won regionals too. So I mean, I feel like it's safe to put it up here at the top.
Yep, absolutely. It was a top cut. The guy who won Swiss went undefeated on day 1 of Nats was Piccolo SH. So yes, he goes up here.
Awesome. Green, no, not green. Black GT Goku. It got 1 support card, I think, maybe 2 support cards in set 8. People swear by this deck that it's pretty solid, but like, I don't know. I haven't seen the results. So maybe this should go into casual, but I mean, the new support does make it a bit more consistent. I'm actually pulling that support.
Well, so I had the new SS4 card, the 5 cost 30k, that since your leader has Son Goku and Insane, it becomes a 3 cost. And then since if you don't have a marker, it can't attack for the turn and you place 1. Yep. So like, I mean, it's fine. It's absolutely fine to not get the swing on the first turn because you're literally playing a 30k body for 2, technically, if you use the marker. And then, like, it can become a 45 swinger with the ability, right? And then you got the Pan, which you have pulled up on the screen here, which is just a self-awakener. So it's a... you don't have to see the SR Pan to like start self-awakening on turn 2.
Yep.
This one does the same thing, and then it's just a cycle 2 cards, which again is not bad whatsoever of an effect in Fusion World. So 2 cards that help its consistency, help its top game. It's gotten support over the last handful of sets as well, just in general. So people have been grinding it. I think there are some decent toppings with it as of late. Mm-hmm. So I would put it probably still Rogue high roll.
Yeah, I think it's Rogue can also just mean, for me personally, it's just a deck that you're not going to see very often, but it could surprise you if you run into it because you may not be as versed in playing it. So you may not understand like what the deck is going to do all the time, you know? Yeah, I think it's fine to throw it in there. I have I want to say it's got some potential. Now, another black deck that actually has potential that I was talking with another content creator, shout out Corrosive Bullet, Bardock.
Oh, for sure.
Actually has got some gas right now. Specifically, the new card that we got. Specifically, it's the boss monster for Goku Jr., but it's also the boss monster for Bardock, and this just absolutely slaps. Being able to be played for 3 instead of 5, as long as your leader's Bardock's crew or Goku's lineage. Now, when attacking, you draw 2, trash 1. So you draw 2, place 1 card from your hand on top of your deck, so you're setting up your other plays, and your leader gets an additional 5k power to the end of your opponent's next turn. Combine this with your leader ability, because you have to play this, swing with it first, then swing with your leader. Your leader's swinging for 30k, and it's a 25k on your opponent's turn. So it's going to have that defense built into it. This is a searchable boss monster that's just really solid for Bardock. So on top of like Bardock being, Bardock's been doing pretty well behind the scenes. So yeah, I honestly think now with Cell and Boo getting nerfed, I can see Bardock being a much more prominent fighter, or at least prominent leader in the meta now.
Yeah, so Bardock's always been good as a generic black leader because of its ability to get bigger on its leader swing. And then like if you just like finding the balance right is good generic black stuff with a crew toolbox to still get the most out of its combo effect and stuff with the top deck. So if people can continue to find a good balance, pilot it well, also with a little bit of luck, of course, I think it can be a competitive leader. And I think this card itself also gives it a late game push ability, because when you start getting to 5-6 energy, being able to play that Bardock for cheap, and then potentially play, I think, a second Bardock, because I don't think it's like anything stopping you or another big card. Like, I just think it's gonna help you close games without having to spend the whole turn on like one card to help make that final push. So I like it a lot. I think people will be able to really get the most out of this deck. So I kind of feel confident putting it in top competitors with the new support. I think I just trust the community on this one to figure it out.
Yep, agreed. Love that. Let's wrap it up with I think we only have 1, 2, 3 more black decks here, but this one's just been the top for a little bit. Baby has been Baby's a weird one. Baby hasn't gotten nerfed, but he hasn't gotten any support either. So we know Baby's good. We know Baby is very aggressive, but the fact that Baby hasn't done anything makes me feel like I need to throw it into the casual tier. But Baby, we know Baby's good. It's just no one's been using it.
Well, I think it's just been power crept. It's a spammy deck that can do some cool things, but other decks I think are able to go faster and have better removal options as well. So like when they're going fast, they're still controlling board while also swinging face. So
yeah,
I think it's probably in. You know what? I'm gonna keep it in Rogue. This is something that, I could be convinced it's a casual for fun deck now because its lack of support. But because of what it's done in the past and some of these other decks we have here in Rogue High Roll, I think it could still be piloted well. There's just a lot of other decks that I think do the same thing now better.
Yep.
So I'm going to keep it in Rogue, and that might be a little bias on my part because I love the deck, but I'm fine with in Rogue.
It's definitely like somewhere between these two, Rogue and Casual. So we'll throw it in the bottom of Rogue. Bulma? Bulma is actually pretty darn good, surprisingly. Let me just put that here for now and then raise this up a little bit. Bulma is just the new support it got in Manga Booster 2, and then some of the extra cards it got in support in, I believe, set 7, or it was like set 6 or set 7, that actually made this deck very consistent. The fact that it can awaken at 5 life means that it's just a bit stronger. It can last a little longer. It can spam the board very easily. It has cards that can play other cards for free. It can swing multiple times to certain cards. It's got good crit cards. It has, it's got a lot of really good play lines for sure. Now with Red, but the problem is Red. Red was a very difficult opponent against it because Red just clears boards way too easily. But now that Red might take a back seat for a little bit, you now have problems like Yellow being able to freeze your stuff down. Blue might see a resurgence and being able to, bottom deck some pieces pretty easily. But I mean, for a little while, Bulma was actually showing up in regional top listings. So at the very least, I feel like it could go into the high roll or Rogue tier, or bottom of top competitors, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have no experience with Bulma, so I'm going to defer this one to you, wherever you want to.
I think it can draw like a mofo, too. Like, holy crap, this deck has a lot of draw power. I think I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say Bulma might be... It's low top competitors, high Rogue, if that, for our people listening here today. So I do think Bulma has a pretty good engine to run. And maybe I'll drop it down towards the end of the video here. But for now, we'll throw it in top competitors, and we'll see how things change. Speaking of another top competitive deck, though, Giblet. Giblet does Giblet things. He hasn't gotten nerfed. He hasn't got any bonuses, but he's still putting up numbers. He's still showing up in high spots and regionals. So I think it's very fair to keep him just in the top competitor slot. You're still going to see this deck. It's going to be an issue still, so you should learn about it, practice for it. At least my opinion.
Okay, yeah, that was during my break, so the Giblet Shallot are are not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, I mean, like, there was Giblet, there was a high, I don't think it was in the top 16 or top 32, or I think it was in the top 32 for this last regional, but definitely not the top 16. But this deck is still a fun deck, still a good deck in general, so I definitely see it being, still competitive in the next slot here. What about Beerus? Red Beerus. It's just...
Oh, it's my first love.
Yep.
Love Red Beerus. I thought it was so cool as a like the main deck that had a minus effect on its leader, because it just made removal so good paired with Red's early stuff that also minus, like, it's a crit leader, and it doesn't do enough, I think, now to balance out its crit front that doesn't draw. I think it's in that's actually tough, because I'm always surprised, but I see still people doing fairly well with it. I just don't want to let my bias, like...
No, I mean, like, I get it. I'm in the same camp. I see people, like, doing decent with it. Not amazing, but still doing decent. I don't feel like it's a casual deck. I feel like this... I mean, yeah, it goes up against Barrier, you're cooked. Beerus can't get rid of Barrier. But I do think Beerus, at the very least, still could be a rogue deck, just, for those, like, if it gets matched up into, say, Piccolo, or, any Abu stuff that isn't Barrier, or any cards with, like, no protection, I feel like it can easily clear boards. But then you get into decks, like, against Omega Shenron that just, okay, cool, put my stuff in my discard pile. That's where I want it. Or decks that, but once yellow decks get their barrier cards out, then yeah, it really can't hold its own. But against other red decks in the format, I mean, I don't see, like, how it couldn't be a rogue deck at least for now. Like, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. I think that a good Beerus player is still very scary.
Okay, I'm fine with that.
All right, we got a couple more leaders, then we're going to talk about the brand new ones. Goma? I'm throwing Goma into top competitors.
Yeah, Goma's finding a way. This is not a deck I was ever interested in. There's some locals who have continued to pay attention to it, and then we're seeing it actually have results now in regionals. So
it's a very big brain deck. Like, you got to be smart to play it, but if you are and you play the right lines, it's very scary.
Well, I will trust all of you guys with your opinions on this one. The results speak for themselves, so yes, it would be considered a top competitor deck.
Perfect. Gotenks. Blue Gotenks has been what I've been messing around with. At first, I really didn't enjoy the deck. I couldn't figure out the right build for it. Now that I have a better build, I'm starting to enjoy it a lot. It does still have its problems, for sure. It's getting support with a Gotenks card, a Gohan manga promo, and the 1-cost Piccolo blocker in set 8. So it's getting more support in general. Oh no, and then the Mighty Mask. The Mighty Mask promo too. That makes it so much more consistent. I would say, just based off that alone, I would throw Gotenks in top competitors, because it's probably the second best blue deck we have right now. Just, going into, just from my testing and talking with other players and content creators, it can, now with the, like, once it gets its promos that it needs, you're going to be able to fuse much more easier. The biggest problem with the deck right now is the fact that, like, you have to see a Goten and a Trunks. If you don't see a Goten or you don't see a Trunks when you have the other one, you're cooked, because you need them to be able to spam out your fusions. But with the Mighty Mask essentially being a Goten or a Trunks, and you're able to play it for one if you don't have a Goten or Trunks in play. Kind of like the new 2-cost cards that got revealed in released in Manga Booster 2, where they cost 1 if you don't have a Goten or Trunks on board. This just, like I said, makes the fusions much more consistent. You're able to play your fusions out as early as, turn 2. And, you have great endgame cards like the 4-drop Gotenks that can swing for 50 twice a turn if you combine it with the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. it's definitely it's definitely high rogue, low top competitors. Still, I think better than Bulma. But from what I can tell, I think this is still going to be a deck that you should watch out for.
Yeah, early renditions of this deck did not seem good to me. I'm still seeing a lot of people talk about it and say they enjoy it, so I'm sure there was just a mark we were missing with it early on. And if you feel better about it now, then that's great. Again, deferring to you because it's a blue deck. It, again, didn't seem that great to me, but if people have found a way to balance it and get the most out of it while having, a number of extras and stuff like that, then great. I will, defer to you here for putting it in top competitors.
I will be the first person to admit if it's not a good deck. And once we get the promos, we'll come back to this when we do a reevaluation of the list, a couple weeks into the set. But let's see here. All right, original Namek Goku. It pretty much can use almost all the same cards that the new Namek Goku got, but it is... You can't awaken until you're at 3 life. You don't draw anymore when you awaken. You're swinging for 30, but you don't draw, and you can heal your life. If you're at 2 or less life, you can heal a life by discarding a card, which is a super cool gimmick. But will it do anything in the meta? I feel like if you're going to play a Green Goku deck, you're probably just playing the new one.
I agree.
Yeah. Sorry, Goku. We're going to throw you into casual. Like, you're just... I don't know. No,
put it in Rogue High Roll, because if it can still play a lot of the same cards, like it's... What it does can still sneak some games. It's just probably not as good as new Green Goku.
Yeah, you're right. Another deck we're going to throw into high roll, I think, is Blue Vegito. Solely for the sake of this is incredibly, RNG heavy. You're self-milling yourself. You're swinging 40k with leader. It's a very big swing that you're going to have to drop at least 2 cards, including a super combo, to get out of every turn. But you could mill yourself out. Your opponent can slow play you or like stall you out, so that way like you could lose just because you decked yourself out. It's very simple game plan. Play the 6 drop out, but you can play it now earlier due to some of the extra support it's gotten. But overall, it's still a high roll deck. I don't, you could maybe make a argument that it could be competitive, but I just feel like it's too risky of a deck to play.
Yep, I agree.
All right, it's the moment of truth. The new 5 leaders. Let's start with Red Gohan. Lot of talk about this deck. A lot of people are saying it could be the new best red deck in format. You are a little bit better with red than I am. What are your opinions?
So, I think this deck is cool. Right now, I would put it in top competitors because, again, predictions. But we haven't had a leader that burned like this. This is a really good effect because it forces decks who want to stall, they simply can't anymore, because your opponent will at least pick a life off of you every turn, as long as this one is awakened, right? And red has the ability to self-awaken pretty quickly, so your turns of staying high life are very much numbered. And I think there's something to be said for that. The cards read, again, fairly well. They gave it an SR Goten Trunks that counts as 2 of itself for the leader ability, so you legit don't have to have the 2 cards always to tap to make the burn happen. And plus 30 on something, right, which is such a big number. It gets over a super combo for sure.
Oh, it's 50. And you're swinging 50k at that point. Oh, you still there?
I like it.
Okay.
A ton. I think it's in top competitor because, again, a deck like if I think about going into Vegeta, Yellow Vegeta, Blue Sin, it has a way to get you low despite your defensive capabilities and stuff like that, right? So I like where it's going to fit in the meta, and I think it's going to be competitive. Yes.
Okay, you for some reason you got quiet there for a little bit, so I may have missed some parts of your conversation, but I get what you mean. It definitely seems like it's got a lot going for it. Your leader is swinging 50k every time you proc its ability, which is huge.
I believe it's not just the leader. It's going to buff everything.
It buffs everything by 50? Oh, sorry, by 30?
Yeah,
Hold on.
Let me double check here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had the leader just pulled up right in front of me here. Your card that's in a battle area... Oh, yeah, sorry. Your card that's in a battle gets plus 30k. So it could be...
So that's why, like, you pair with the Secret Rare, right? The Secret Rare is a 4-cost 25k that when you play it, you could play out a 3 or less card from your hand as well. And if you play the double name, then you have that fodder. And then if your opponent is at 2 or less life, the Secret Rare gets double strike. So you go 25k, tap the card that can't attack anyway to give it plus 30. So it's 55 double without any additional combo power from your hand. So, like, right, that's the whole Family Kamehameha archetype theme. So yes, it's anything that swings. So you want like a single to go through. Good luck with that. You know, double to end the game as long as they have the means to do it. Again, good luck with that.
Okay, I can definitely see this. It's definitely top competitors or low of tournament winners. We expect really good things of this leader going
I don't know
forward,
if I would call it a tournament winner. No, I wouldn't put it that high.
Okay.
I would just put it in competitors because of its unique effect. It's going to do some things that like other decks are going to really, really hate about it. So that's why.
Perfect. Okay. Goku Jr. I'll handle this one. We've been practicing, with it. I've been playing it. It can do some cool things. Being able to do multiple 30k swings. And near the end of the game, its ability is super easy to do. Being able to have 10 costs or more worth of cards on your board is very easy with how quickly the deck can spam out bodies. The problem with it is that you need to protect those bodies, whether it's just comboing cards from hand or keeping them in active mode so that your opponent can't swing into them or can't KO them easily. But it will have a problem against blue decks because blue is able to bottom deck a lot of low to the ground cost cards. It's in the late game where you're having like 2 to 3 5-cost cards, which is, I feel like this deck's bread and butter. Those are going to be a lot harder to remove. But its end game is very much, it doesn't rely on a particular card at all. Sure, you have the double striker Gohan that KOs that makes you trash a 3-cost card or less on the board. But that's not really a great boss monster. It's more so you're relying on just kind of whittling down your opponent's hand with 30k swings after 30k swings. You can use the Bardock card that we showed off earlier with it as well. It's a very cool deck, and I'm still trying to figure out the right play lines for. But it's genuinely, for me, I still feel like it's a rogue deck at this point. I can't, I don't know why I moved that there, sorry. It's a deck with a lot of potential. I feel like we're missing a card, and I was genuinely surprised that Goku Jr. did not get a promo card revealed. Like, Yellow Broly got 2, but Goku Jr. didn't get 1. And I feel like maybe it is missing some type of support that we're going to get released maybe in the next set. I think it's a really cool leader and a really cool deck, but I just don't see it being a top competitor as of, at least right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does some cool stuff, but if you can control your opponent's board enough to not get some of your bigger effects with having X amount of Goku's lineage on board, it starts to feel very underwhelming. So a little bit of high roll. You got to see everything. You got to hope your opponent isn't playing like certain matchups and stuff. So yeah, I agree with you here.
Okay. Speaking of Broly, I know he's your favorite. Let's talk about him.
Okay, so this deck rocks. It's really, really cool. I haven't tested enough to really feel confident at just how meta warping it's going to be, but it does have this permanent right that if you have a 5 cost or more sand in your battle area, your opponent's basically floodgated a bit. It can't attack with battle cards unless it switches one of their other active mode cards to rest mode. Put it in top competitors for now. I think that's where this will sit, because I'm not going to tell you where, or I don't know exactly where it is in top competitors, but there are certain decks that if they only play like 1 battle card, maybe 2 a turn, that's not going to help you with its floodgate effect. If you don't have point and click removal for the Broly's to cut the floodgate effect out, that's also going to hurt you, but that doesn't help when they play the Paragus SR to protect a Broly from being removed for a turn cycle. The one thing about this deck is that it doesn't have removal. It has a lot of switch to rest mode. It has, I think, at least 1 freezing card. It has a bunch of energy restand, of course. The leader effect is if you have a 4 or more cost Broly, restand 1, and then your other Broly cards, like the Bio Broly, is also restand on play. It has a decent amount of 10Ks. You can build it with a lot of 10Ks. But again, without the removal, you're hoping that you can get by on a 25K backside. You're also not drawing on your backside as well. There's a Paragus where you're basically switching to rest mode, a useless Broly once per turn to get a draw off. But again, that may not stay on board all that long, and it's also a bad card. It's a two cost 5K that's relying on other cards. So I think it has to be in top competitor because of the floodgate. It's going to warp the meta to a degree because there are some decks who can't fight through the floodgate, can't deal with its bodies. And it's also got a pretty sweet SCR that is playable in all yellow decks, but it's the 6 cost Broly 40K that it basically rests all of your opponent's battle cards, and then they can't attack next turn. And then if their leader is also in rest mode, it can't attack next turn. So
that's disgusting.
Once you start slamming those down, things start to feel pretty bad, and then all your bodies are like big, right? You have 30s and 35s and 40s that you're hoping end up dwindling your opponent's hand down, right? Depending on how their defense is set up, if they can't handle 30s, 35s, 40s like efficiently, it's going to be a bad time. So I like this deck. It's fun. It does some cool things with the energy restand. But the meta, this is going to shape the meta, but the meta could also shape its potential. If people find out certain decks really counter it hard, then like this deck's gonna fall. And if people cannot find those answers, this deck's gonna feel a lot stronger than some people may have thought.
Yeah, like when we play Goku Jr. into it, Goku Jr. actually probably has a better matchup into it solely because Goku Jr. spams so many bodies on board that I have plenty of cards to tap in order to swing in. But even then, that floodgate is very good. That floodgate it is meta warping, and that's what Broly seems to do whenever he gets put into this game, is he warps the meta around him for a brief time. But this floodgate, when we don't really have a lot of floodgates in this game, if any, is just so good. Into the top decks here, Sin's endgame.
Sin doesn't play a lot of bodies,
so his endgame
that's why when it wants to swing, right, that it's, what are you going to tap down, right? Usually you're tapping out and then playing things for free from your extra cards, so you don't have extra energy to tap. You don't have, again, a ton of bodies, because when you play out a body, you usually get rid of that body to play something else, right? The Natarons into the bigger ones, the Sin into the Omega. You don't have a ton. The thing is, maybe Sin has to start teching in the Nova SR because that one restands, and so potentially could be fodder, right, for that. You'd have to land that one on board to swing multiple times through the floodgate, just stuff like that. So if you don't go wide, you're just going to struggle against this deck a bit.
Yeah, I agree. Broly is going to be a menace, like always. Caulifla, first glance, looking at this leader, its ability was cheeks. It did not seem good. The support that we got revealed does show potential. This being a much more, just being an aggressive blue deck. It is crit. It's our first crit leader we've gotten in a while. And it comes with all the negatives of that. Not being able to really draw on your front side until you awaken, which you don't awaken till 3, which is real bad. But once you can stabilize and you're able to swing pretty easily with play a card, swing, bounce into hand with leader ability to play another card that you swing in, it can be pretty. I definitely think it at least falls into Rogue it's going to be a pretty interesting deck that, you know, how do I phrase this? You're spamming a lot of, you know, bodies on board, you know, by, you know, playing them off, returning the bodies back to your hand. You trigger other really cool abilities. When you bounce a card back to hand, you have a really good 5-drop Kefla that is just a great double striker, you know, for just any blue deck, in all honesty. It's got potential, but I feel like that crit ability on its front is going to really impact it. But I have high hopes for it. Worst case, it's a top of casual. You know, best case, it's, you know, a rogue deck. But I do feel like it could have some issues against red, being able to, like, you know, minus things off the board. It can play bigger bodies for cheaper because its leader is Universe 6. If you have some special Universe 6 cards, they played for cheaper, you know, because of that. A 5 cost is played for 3, which then triggers your ability, because now you played a 3 cost. You bounce it back to hand. Technically, it's a 5 cost, but you only paid 3 for it. So then you can play a 4 cost. So you're technically going up a card in cost. So you're getting value there. So, like, it's very interesting. I'm gonna have to do some practice with it, but I definitely think it's better than what originally was shown off.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's got some really cool sequences. Being able to sequence into the 4-cost Kale SR, which then plays your 3-cost Caulifla.
Yep.
So you go swing something, use the effect, bounce, and then you go Kale into Caulifla, you go 25 swing again with Caulifla, and then Caulifla's effect is you pitch those 2 and you can play a 5-cost Kefla from your hand. And those options are the 5-cost 25k Kefla that searches top 5 for 2 Universe 6 cards, 4 or less, and add it to your hand. Great. Or you go into the 5-cost 35k double strike Kefla, depending on the situation. And on this one, when you play it, you can add a 4 or less card from your drop to your hand, and it's not Universe 6 or anything. It's just 4 or less from your hand, blue card.
Yep.
And then if she's the only battle card in the battle area, she gets plus 15, so she's a 50k. And usually, like, that's probably easy to do because you can combo off other cards, or you're getting rid of the cards you had on board again to play her.
Yep.
So there's just some really cool sequences for pushing and or gathering resources, right? You want to add 1 card to hand but have the better pusher. You want to add 2 cards to hand and have a less of a swing. So I think there's some cool stuff with her, but more testing is needed for sure. I think Rogue is just fine.
Yep. Awesome. And then finally, guys, the last leader, Turles, the first Goku Black. This leader, his whole deck is very interesting. The archetype behind Fruit of the Tree of Might is just a really fun one. Its ability is pretty simple. If you have 5 or less energy once per turn, you can use the Fruit of the Tree of Might without paying its cost. With the Fruit of the Tree of Might, its ability is, I got it pulled up right here. It's a 3-cost activate battle. If your card that's in a battle, your card that's in a battle gets plus 15k power for the battle. Then if your leader is Turles and you have 5 or less energy, add this card from your drop to your energy in rest mode. So it's able to spam out, put a Tree of Might into your energy after you're done using it. And so many cards of Turles's get buffs if you have a Fruit of the Tree of Might in your energy. And then there are also some cards that allow you to take that Fruit of the Tree of Might from your energy back to your hand. So you're able to kind of spam that ability off. It's definitely feeling like an aggressive deck. You're doing a lot of things on your turn. You're messing with a lot of cards. I have hopes at the very least that this deck is going to be a rogue competitor. It's definitely better than casual. I don't fully believe that it can be a top competitor, though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I've heard that it's a pretty spammy deck, so take that for what it is. And if it's able to spam bodies on top of abilities that help boost those bodies, so your swings are plenty and also just high enough to start making opponents feel uncomfortable should you line up all your cards and your sequences, I think that's fantastic. Yeah, the ability to really just move this Fruit of the Tree of Might around, because you're always playing it for free, okay?
Yep.
So when you play it for free, and you keep your Turles leader at 5 or less energy, it's always going to the drop and then immediately coming back to your energy in rest mode. So you're always able to keep that as an extra energy to do stuff with before you start killing your energy for effects. And then the field Tree of Might is what you rest to then add the Tree of Might energy to your hand. So it's the fruit is in your energy to play things and get buffs because it's in your energy. And then the tree grabs it. So it's an already used energy. You're grabbing it and then being able to use it for free. Like there's just so much value being circulated, and then like it's always going to come back into your energy, which is fantastic. So I just think it's really cool. Again, I haven't tested it at all. I've just only heard some decent things. It looks like if you line up, you could probably steal some games, which is kind of what Rogue is, right? If everything lines up, you're lucky, you steal some. So Rogue, I think, is perfect for this.
Awesome. I like it. And then this very well could go up even higher. You know, we'll have to reevaluate the meta in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I think this is it. I think this is our tier list. Last thoughts, God, maybe I think Bulma's probably better off in Rogue. It really depends on the matchup. If you go against certain matchups, she's got a lot better of a. She's going up against decks with not a lot of great removal, she's a fantastic deck. Go Tanks. I think I might be putting him a little too high, to be honest. This might be my bias talking, but I want him to do well. I think he could, but I also rated him way too high in the previous one, so I think we're gonna put him down into Rogue just to see if he can prove himself with this upcoming list, because I don't really know if people are gonna put in the time and effort to play Go Tanks when you have other when obviously the best blue deck in the game is Sin. Mm-hmm. You know what? No, I'm going to keep him at bottom of top competitors. He's the bottom. He's the bottom. So the rest of this, though, I'll admit, there's no particular order. There really isn't any particular order, just because there's so many factors that can come into play. These top 4, though, I think are going to be the best decks in the format, with Gohan and Broly being close to that. And we have high hopes, and I definitely think these decks have potential to do very, very well into the top meta as well. Cell and Boo, they're still dangerous, but they've got some thinking to do with how they're playing. They've got to find a new play style. I think for the most part, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this list. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy as well. Again, predictive. We don't know for sure. And, everyone only has as much time as they do to test and theory craft and stuff like that. So I'm fine with where everything is. I'm very open to discussion and people sharing opinions and why. Just make sure, if you've got opinions, don't forget the why, because otherwise no one's learning anything and you're just kind of saying stuff. So come with the info as well, and we appreciate it.
Perfect. All right, I think we're gonna wrap this up because this is almost 2 hours long. Wow, that went by very, very quickly. But hey, Mike, thank you so much for hopping back on the channel. And for those who don't know, you just started up a YouTube channel. You're going to be the collaborative person in this video too, because now YouTube has a new collaborative function. So your name will be right next to mine.
Fantastic.
But tell people about your channel. Give a quick little speech.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah, so I'm just doing this for fun. I have no expectations. I love the Dragon Ball card games. I also play a little Union Arena. So there will be, several games featured on my channel. Again, for fun, mainly because when I look around for content creators doing masters or anything, I still feel like there's just not enough. And I think the more the merrier. So I'm going to be starting my channel, hopefully getting some good content up, a lot of discussion, and things that everyone is going to want to listen to. So
I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. I hope you guys can join me. It's called Unbound TCG. Unbound being a play from the character Bojack, because he's such a cool character. I have a big affinity for Dragon Ball movie characters, and I just kind of like the sound of it. So Unbound TCG, you can go ahead and follow. I don't have any videos up. This would be the first one that I like collaborate on, and probably is tied to my channel. But any follows, likes, subscriptions is greatly appreciated.
Awesome. Yes, please go show him some love. He's incredibly knowledgeable, great player. He's he's in probably one of the best locals in the entire country. It's got Dane in it, and he won nationals. So
yeah.
You know,
pretty good. Like, so in terms of like, you know, I can't make it around to too many events and things like that for my own personal experience. But as far as who I get to play with and theorycraft and test with, like, it is Dane, our NA national champion. Dane also is he's topped tons and tons of regionals and masters. Same with a lot of other guys. Our guys Peter Tao, Colt, Matt Lang also was top 25 at Fusion World this year.
Jamade's also up there.
We have such a good locals that always show up and show out when they travel. So I'll have some good opinions and good people to talk to and stuff like that. So you can, for the most part, trust sort of the information that I'm giving you, which I'm always going to make sure it is good before I actually say anything.
Perfect. Love that. All right, guys, you know the drill. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this in the future. Once again, hype button helps the video out. Subscribe over to Unbound TCG. Show him some love as well. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below for the tier list, and we will catch you on the next episode. Take care, guys.